Okay, so we're going to answer questions from Sect of the Lord God members.
Indeed we are.
All right.
Quite a few.
We'll try to get through these fairly quickly, so there's a long, drawn-out video. All right, we'll start with the first question, and that's from Lucas, and he asks, what is the best definition of the Ubermensch?
You came up with a good one.
Well, in my opinion, it is an ideal, a metaphorical ideal created by Nietzsche for the individual to strive for,
right.
if you will. Whether it will be reached or not, who knows? I've actually written a novel that I'm looking for a publisher about an individual who becomes the Ubermensch in today's society.
It's a great read.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
You should be.
But have we reached it? No. It's like Nietzsche said himself, man is the bridge between ape and Ubermensch.
Mm-hmm.
So, good question. All right, next one we have from Nardo, and he says, basically, have you ever been superstitious? Have we ever been superstitious?
Oh, absolutely.
Or believed in the supernatural?
Sure.
If someone says, there are things science can't really explain, what is your response? Of course there are things science can't explain. Science is simply a tool to evaluate the objective universe.
Right.
All right. Now there is, of course, a subjective universe. Namely, science, okay, example, science cannot explain consciousness.
No, they
not
can't.
At this point. Maybe someday we will be able to. And yeah, science doesn't know everything. And it never will.
Yeah.
It's just reality. It's just a tool of evaluating this bizarre objective universe we all live in and trying to make sense out of it. There seems to be these strict laws, you know, within this physical universe, hence physics.
That's right.
That seem to be, you can't break. Now, the word supernatural, I do not like that word. It's an oxymoron.
Mm-hmm.
Because if something exists, if ghosts exist, if ESP exists, if whatever, if that exists, then it's part of the natural universe.
Right.
It's not beyond, which super means, beyond.
Yeah, it's within the natural universe. That's so true. I mean, you know, when I was a believer, and then, you know, being a non-believer, it doesn't happen overnight. It's certainly a process. You know, and I thought there were, you know, you move into a house and there's a ghost that still lives there. And once I stopped believing, though, well, when I had belief in them, I had power over them too. Like, it's my house, get out. I wasn't afraid. Do you know what I mean?
Of the unknown.
Of the unknown. It's just like, get the hell out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and when I was a kid, you know, when I first got into the occult,
Yeah.
when I left, let's say, Christianity, as a very young man, like basically 12,
Mm-hmm.
I started being drawn toward the occult, if you will.
Right.
And over time, it didn't take me long before I realized that I was just substituting one faith for another
That's
faith.
right. It's a lateral move.
Yeah.
Is how I saw it.
But I still loved and was fascinated by the occult, and started looking at it from more of a, let's say, Jungian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, good question. All right, next is from our buddy Michael from New York. Was having the Sect of the Horn God as a learning institution for many types of folk, rather than just another satanic church, a deliberate choice from the beginning? Yes, it was. The sect is an idea. Well, something like this sect has been an idea that has been brewing around in my big head for roughly 30 years, maybe more. I wanted to do something like that. And with the combination of the internet and, of course, you, my lovely wife,
thank you.
I was able to, you know, fashion it into something workable, make it come into fruition, if you will.
I mean, we made, you know, there was lots of mistakes in the beginning, but our goal was to, what I did is I would go onto different left-hand path groups or you know, satanic groups, and saw things I didn't want, right?
Yeah.
And that was pretty easy. So that when we structured it, there's no learning on many of them, and that's what we wanted. We wanted a place that people could find resources.
Yeah.
You know, to help them out.
And also, it was to. Okay, we had done multiple festivals on the winery where we lived.
Right.
And one of the festivals that we did a couple of them, was the Pagan Fest.
Yes.
And I noticed within that pagan community that the horn god was nothing but the goddess's boy toy. They had
Right.
removed removed his testicles.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring him back to vitality, if
Mm-hmm.
you will, in a sense. And also from the Anton LaVey quote, between Satan and Pan.
Oh, yes.
Why reject an old friend simply because he bears a new name and unjustified stigma?
Yeah.
Also, another Anton LaVey quote: "They, as in the pagans,
Mm-hmm.
or the witchy white witches, they play the devil's game, but they won't take the devil's name."
Yeah.
So yes, the intention was to create a more, let's say, pan-occultist organization,
Yeah.
left-hand path organization.
Yeah.
Try to find that root archetype, root god, because of the stark similarities I noticed early on between Hinduism and Druidism and so on and so forth. There is a deep Indo-European archetype,
Yes.
philosophy,
Oh, yeah, there sure is.
archetype, philosophy, whatever, that we are striving to find
Right.
and trying to bring back in. you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, great question. Let's see. Eric asks, has the sect developed a system of magic of its own as part of its educational offerings, separate from LaVey's ideas? Or does it encourage interested members to go with an already established system of some sort? If it hasn't, what would you say the sect's relationship to Western esotericism is exactly? Okay, a lot to unload there.
Yes.
To begin with, the M word. If you notice in the videos, that word is almost never used.
No.
And there's a reason for it. Now, the concept of magic does not come into the sect until the order of Shiva. Okay, then we have strict, let's say we have rituals that are
Right.
strictly sect or the order of Shiva rituals related to the M word. See, what we're attempting to do is we want people to understand what's going on when it comes to magic. We just don't want flighty believers that think, I can put a hex on him and he'll fall in love with me, or he'll drop dead, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want that. We don't want those kind of people.
No. Oh,
Okay.
no.
We want people to understand understand what's going on
Yeah.
through individual steps, and that's what the orders are, steps going all the way up until you reach the order of Shiva. And, okay, now why is it called the order of Shiva? Why not the order of, I don't know, Satan or Lucifer or whatever? Well, Satan and Lucifer aren't left-hand path gods. They are, in a sense, angels. They are archetypes. They are,
Sure.
but they're gods. Shiva is the ultimate left-hand path god.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so I wanted to have these, as I see, the supreme Indo-European left-hand path god as their, as the focal point for the order, okay, the ultimate order. And then, see, okay, that brings in the East. And then when you go through the order of Shiva, you become a Hyperborean, hence the West.
Right.
And also other disciplines within Western esotericism, please get into them, study them. Gnosticism and Hermeticism and so on and so forth. Get into it.
Yeah.
The OTO, the Philema, whatever. Study it, the Golden Dawn, whatever you do it, study it. Find that commonality, find that common root within it all. And that's what we're looking for in the sect. I've always been obsessed with what came earlier. Even back in my musical days when I was a kid.
Yes.
Playing in rock bands back in the 80s. Yes, I'm old. I looked for who influenced these bands I loved. So I kept digging deeper, and that's
Yeah.
what we're doing with this.
Yeah.
We're trying to find that the Indo-European archetype, if you
Mhm.
will.